Hello, my name is Arlene Alvarez, and this is my final presentation for my medical terminology class. For the first week, we talked about common medical errors found in the healthcare industry. There are 4 things that I identified. The first one is proper communication, which is a common mistake made, not just in the healthcare industry, but in our everyday lives. I mean, you see it in everything. It is important to have a full knowledge of the medical terminologies used in order to be productive in your job. This can either be written or verbal mistakes. The second one is knowledge-based error, which is another common mistake that is made. When standard care policies are not followed properly, examples are specimen labeling, poor documentation, or proper knowledge in how to care for a patient, it becomes an issue. The third is inadequate staffing. This can not only lead to a medical error, but can put healthcare workers in situations where they are more likely to make mistakes. It is very hard to function in situations when one is overworked and overtired. The last one is technical failures. These are common errors that in certain circumstances can be alleviated. These machines need to be periodically checked to make sure they are functioning properly at all times. These failures sometimes can not only provide improper diagnosis, but also patient death. On the second week, we got to learn about ourselves. And for this week, I believe that God equips those He calls. He has called me to be in the healthcare industry at this time of my life, so He is equipping me as I study this new field. I am humbled and in awe that He has never taken away my desire to be in this industry. The talents that He has bestowed upon me is a gift, and I know that I will thrive by His grace and mercy. Some of the things that I'm working on are communication skills, as this is particularly important when explaining policies, procedures, and regulations to staff members. I know that I'm quick to learn, but having to explain and delegate seem to be a challenge at times. The second one is teamwork. I have worked remotely for many years. It's been about 12 years that I've worked from home, and so being in an office environment where I have a team of people that I'm working with could be a challenge. So it's something that I'm going to need to relearn in this new field. My desire is to be able to share the love of Christ with my team. The third is logical, critical thinking, and problem-solving abilities. As a wife, a mom, an account executive, whatever labels I have, these are skills that I've learned in navigating life. However, it is a skill that I will need to learn as I enter a new field. The fourth one is having compassion for people. It's a skill that I pray that I will not have to learn. There are times when I do not have the patience for people, but I know I have to look at them the way Christ sees them. The third week, we were given a scenario, and this was actually pretty difficult for me because there are many times when I feel like, my job is really important, but I also forget who my true provider is. So this was a challenge. Oftentimes we are fearful in losing something than being honest. This is especially true when it comes to our jobs. It is what provides a roof over our heads, food on the table, and clothing for our family. It provides our needs. This statement may be true, but our true provider is the Lord. This is truth that we tend to forget. And having a dishonest attitude will slowly eat away at us. And maybe it's one of the reasons that makes our job less enjoyable and unfulfilling. Work is very important to God. This word, work, appeared 891 times in the Bible. God is the main worker. He is our miracle worker. He worked for 6 days and rested on the seventh. By His example, it is apparent that work should be productive and conducted in a way that produces the highest quality outcome. The reward for work is the honor and satisfaction that comes from a job well done. In my experience, I have learned to tell the truth than hide it. I think that it is easier for people to trust you when they see that you are honest, most especially during a difficult situation. When a mistake is brought up, there is an opportunity to fix it before it is too late. Mark 4:22 states, "For nothing is hidden except to be revealed, nor has anything been secret but that it would come to light." So this is true from God's word. Everything hidden will come to light one day. So I try to hide it. Yes, our jobs are important. But again, we have a true provider and he will help us get through it. The last, or the fourth week, we were given an opportunity to interview healthcare professionals, and I was able to interview 4 people. 3 of them are nurses, and one of them is a dentist who owns her own clinic here in Colorado Springs. And I definitely gained some valuable insights from the interviews I've made. As I interviewed each of these professionals, I was struck by their love for the healthcare field, their love for the people, and they truly want to take care of people. And they're all veterans because each of them has been in the industry for 15 to 25 years. The nurses' work is very hard as it is physically, mentally, and spiritually draining. They see pain, suffering, and death almost daily. Reggie, who works in the neonatal ICU, has experienced babies dying in her arms, which she said was very traumatic the first time it happened to her. She cried for days and did not think she could go back, but then seeing other babies thrive become an encouragement. And for me, that struck me because I have deep love for the babies and the elderly, and so I would love to be able to work with babies. And the dentist have seen plenty of patients who has had major tooth decay. She said this is either due to poor conditions growing up, not having the knowledge or proper tooth care, but in several instances she has had patients who were just afraid in going to the dentist. She has learned to be sympathetic and ease their minds when they sit in that dental chair. And on my 6th slide here, asks, how can I be an asset to an organization? And as a healthcare administrator, there are several ways I would do to be an asset to the organization. The first is being a servant leader and lead by example. If I want the team to trust me, I have to first earn their trust by showing humility when I make mistakes and apologize for what I have done wrong. We're all humans after all, and we all make mistakes. The second one is I would establish an open communication with each team member so I am well aware of their needs as well as their strengths and weaknesses. Motivate the team members through encouragement and incentives for a job well done. Treat each of them with respect. The 5th is have difficult conversations when one makes a mistake, but also show sympathy. Listen to what they say before coming to a conclusion. There are always 3 sides to every story, one being God's, which is the most important one. Number 6 is never stop learning about the field. I think that as I go further into the field, it is very important for me to just continue learning. And number 7, which I put last, but I'm thinking this should be first, is pray. Pray, because this is our only weapon that has proven over and over again to work in all circumstances. And my last slide is my reference page, and I just want to thank you so much, Dr. Gill, for teaching this class. It has been an honor and just a privilege to be able to do this, and I've learned so much from you and from my classmates. God bless.